sometimes you have a good week. And I feel like I'm having a good week. I finished my series on here, on the 30 previews. Revenues are at a level right now where I'm just really excited about where this channel could go. Friday arrives. I have a girlfriend as of last Friday. So, okay, that was unexpected. I had gone out on a date with this girl, saying to myself, now this is just, I'm just going to go out on this date. I'm going to watch this concert. I promised her I'd go. She bought the tickets. I'd be an asshole if I didn't go. And somewhere about halfway through the concert, I was like, you know what? This girl's really cool. And yeah, so that happened. And then today I checked my bank balance because I'm getting ready to buy some stuff on Amazon. I'm like, wow, that's really low. Like, not as in like I'm broke low, but low compared to what I thought it was going to be. Like, what the hell? Did some payment come out that I didn't know about? NHL 17 is preparing for shipment. Oh my god. Now, because I got the free shipping option and rather than the 1 to 2 days, sometimes what they do is Amazon will start processing and then they'll stop. And it'll be like a week later they'll actually ship it. And they didn't always do that. A couple of years ago when I started using Amazon, they didn't do that. So I would, choose the free shipping, and if it was shipping out of Richmond, it'd be here the next day. And I'm like, well, it's a good thing I chose that 5 to 8 business days for shipping because I got it the next day. So I think what they do is they get all the orders and then they go, wait a minute, we got to prioritize these because if this guy gets, everything on the first day. Okay. Now, I was looking at future watch issues, and I know I've gone over rookies, and I've discussed rookies in depth because the number one question you're going to get isn't going to be about some guy going to his 6th season. It's going to be about a guy going to his 1st or his 2nd and how great he's going to be. Now, the first future watch I've got here, see that? That's the Canucks future captain, Cody Hodgson. You don't remember that? Oh, I remember that. I remember that because I actually had an image I made in Photoshop of Cody Hodgson on the Vancouver Canucks message boards. And I wrote on the bottom, Canucks future. I did. So I make no claims of being some grand seer because I genuinely thought this guy was the future. And then the back injuries hit. And as soon as the back injuries hit, I went, maybe he's not the future. So how accurate are these processes by which we trust in who the great prospects are? All right, well, here's the projected top 10 for the 2009 NHL draft. Number 1, John Tavares. Number 2, Victor Hedman. So far, so good. Number 3, Magnus Paharvi Svensson. 4, Jared Cowan. Scout says about Jared Cowan, when you get mobility and size on the blue line, that's attractive to everybody. Cowan can't skate, right? Isn't that the reason he's out of the NHL? Solid all-around defender, knocked out in February with an MCL injury. Already has a Memorial Cup under his belt with the Chiefs. Many scouts don't see a deep drop-off between Hedman and him. See that? Now, go look over some current prospects and come back and tell me how similar that sounds to some of the stuff that gets said now. Evander Kane. Physical forward who can also put the puck in the net. Played beyond his years at the World Junior Championships. Probably was out drinking with people 10 years older than he was. Notching a point per game while playing on the energy line. Probably because he was drunk. Named after boxer Evander Holyfield, who was actually a great athlete. Honestly, oh, you're talking to me now? This cat, last night, my girlfriend comes over last night, and this cat sits on the floor, won't come up and see me, and just glares at her the entire time for hours. Just sits on the floor like, and I was like, kitty, can you stop? And then she'd look over at me and look right back at her like, nope, this is on. How dare she? And I said to her, I said, that cat thinks I'm hers. She's had me for the last 2 years as, hi. And now I have to make it up to her because last night, the girlfriend was here until I went to bed. And she did go home. For anybody who's thinking there's some seedy stuff going on. It's funny, I've decided that I'm in my 40s and it would be nice to date. It'd be nice to take things slow because people tend to hurry, and then you blow it right up. It's also the same about rebuilds. So that good Branson deal, I'm just leaving that. Number 6 overall for the draft, Matt Duchene, incredible quickness and speed, one of the top scorers in the OHL. So he was considered behind Kane. Nazem Kadri, listed as a center, but can play all 3 forward positions with ease. Hear that, Leafs fans? He can play all 3 forward positions with ease. Kadri is fast and creative, making him dangerous on the attack, a top 10 scorer in the OHL. His best assets are his hands and his vision. He's nifty, a good playmaker. This must have been how he meeker. He's nifty. Versatility for me is huge, and you can fit him in the lineup wherever you need him. So, Leafs fans can decide whether that's true or not. I don't see any reason to say it's not true. His numbers haven't been what was projected, but when you're trying to Maple Leaf, your numbers are probably going to be projected beyond realistic goals. Number 8, Braden Shen. More of a two-way player than most highly ranked prospects. It's true. Upside is of Mike Richards type, who may not put up huge numbers but can contribute in many ways. Mike Richards contributes at the border. Older brother Luke plays for the Maple Leafs. Well, yeah. He plays with a lot of character. He's going to be on the ice in all key situations. And that's true. Braden Shen, at this point, it took a while, but Braden Shen developed into that. Ryan Ellis, unparalleled skills as a power play quarterback. Ellis was magic for Canada at the World Juniors, put up tremendous numbers for Windsor, and even led Tavares in points through the early part of the season, seen by some as a Brian Campbell type. I like Ellis, but the offense isn't Brian Campbell in his prime type. Jordan Schrader wowed everybody as an underager at the World Juniors in 2008, but came up short in 2009. The short joke, right? 5'9", so he's short. Still drives the Gopher offense as a freshman and is courageous despite his diminutive size. His strengths are his hockey sense and puck skills. He's intelligent, poised, and creative with a very good focus around the net. And he's a fringe NHLer. So, and then they have a whole page article on Magnus Svensson, and the speed to burn will be title of Magnus Opus. And Svensson or Paharvey can skate, but projected top 10 for 2010 draft. Now this was in 2008. This magazine was put together. Number 1, Taylor Hall, and they have a whole page in here on Taylor Hall. There he is with juniors. Number 2, Kirill Kabanov. It's still early, but the next Ovechkin tag has been thrown around. Already speaks fluent English, tallied 7 points in 4 games at World Junior A Challenge. Big, but he still needs to put on weight. A classic Russian winger with very good technical skills. What is it with Russians being overrated? Like it's a serious question. Like, you look through prospects, and you will find them from all nationalities. But man, some Russians get really hyped, and then it's just, it's Volchkov, it's Filatov, it just doesn't happen. Fedorov. Number 3, Brandon Gormley, number 1 pick in Quebec League draft, played for vaunted Notre Dame Hounds, playing better than expected considering his age. Cam Fowler at number 4, good skater, playing at age group with under 18 team, led Americans in World Cup and scoring at Four Nations Cup. Number 5, Eric Goodbranson. I get accused of hating Eric Goodbranson, and I don't. I don't. I think he's a useful player. I think when you're rebuilding, anyways, doesn't matter. And when your defense only scored 23 goals last year, you only scored 23 goals from the blue line. That's 1 every 4 games. Like, my God. A standout player on a subpar team. He's contributing more than expected this early in his career. He's a pig kid and he has pretty good feet. Looks like he understands the game pretty well, and skill-wise, he has upside in all departments. Number 6, Michael Granlund. Prolific goal scorers, already tearing up Finnish junior circuit. Number 7, John McFarland. Highly touted number 1 pick, started off slowly, but found his stride as season went on, doing too much on a bad team, but scouts like his effort. Number 8, Teemu Pulkkinen. Dominated his own age group and was bumped up to under 20s, where he still put up impressive stats. Already playing in SM Liga this year. Another hyped Finn who is small in stature. Number 9, Alex Burmistrov, already suited up with men in the KHL, played on a line with Kavanagh, as well at several international events, and demonstrated great hands and playmaking abilities. See, and Burmistrov is one of those reasons why when I hear, well, he's already played in the KHL, I go, yeah, and yeah. Number 10, Tyler Toffoli. Great hands and hockey sense, has been a solid contributor to the 67s in his rookie campaign. And 2011 NHL watch list. So this is 3 years out. Shane McColgan scored 3 points in 4-game audition with WHL Kelowna. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, top pick in WHL draft, tallied 6 points in 5 games as a 15-year-old in call-up to Red Deer. Great vision and all-around game. Adam Larsson. Big kid has already played a game in the Swedish Elite League, has put up impressive numbers at all levels, usually as an underager. Scout says he's big and very strong, a defensive stay-at-home defenseman, but he has the skill to be an offensive player. Justin Sefton. Bruising blue liner, likes to play a punishing Dion Phaneuf-style game, point-per-game player this year with the Hounds. I've never heard of Justin Sefton until I said that name. Daniel Catanacci. Touted as #1 pick in Ontario League, speed and vision with the puck sets him apart, plays all-around game and is captain of his team. Premier offensive player, great speed and puck skills, pure finisher. And he's a farmhand for the Buffalo Sabres now. So that's what I mean when I talk about how, it's great to say rookies are going to be fantastic, but there's no guarantee. None. So sometimes you get these guys who are really highly touted and everybody thinks they're going to be a star, and then things just don't work out for them. And there's no rhyme or reason as to who or when or how. Yeah. The dynamic Russian winger is patiently learning how to light up North American ranks in his first pro season on the side of the ball. Oh, yeah, patiently. Yeah. If there's anything with Filatov, he was patient waiting his turn. Patient. And then you turn the next page, and there's the next star, Cody Hodgson. This is why when people say, when somebody says, well, why don't you have so-and-so in the lineup? Why aren't you mentioning so-and-so when you talk about, the Rangers, the Islanders, the Devils, the Kings, whoever, right? And I say, well, they haven't played yet. They haven't played. Like here you go. Here's a perfect page. See, in the black jersey, that is Drew Doughty. See, great prospect, right? On the other page, the guy that my nose is on top of, that's Colton Tubert. You can't tell. It is inexact science. Drives me nuts when I hear people saying, well, so-and-so is going to score this, unless it is a Lenne or a Matthews, and like, I predict that Matthews scores probably 60, 65 this year, because he's going to get every opportunity to play first line, whether he's ready or not. They're going to give him the opportunity. It is Mike Babcock, so he's going to be careful with them, but I think Matthews by the end of the year is going to be the guy. Nylander's ready. He was ready last year. Nylander should have been a rookie last year, but the Leafs were smart. They left him with the Marlies. So it's completely realistic that Nylander's going to score 60. Mitch Marner, if he makes the team, being a more diminutive style player, he's smaller. They're going to bring him along slowly. They're not going to put him out there in all situations right off the bat, or he's going to get hurt. So Marner will fly under the radar, probably get second, third line minutes, probably bounce onto the second power play unit. And if he plays all year into Toronto, I think 45 points is completely realistic. See, the thing is, Toronto doesn't have a whole lot of scoring depth other than their young guns. So they're counting on those young guns this year if they're going to make any improvement. And I think they've got really solid young guns to do that with. Another magazine, and this one, I honestly laughed out loud when I saw this. Meet your 2019 Stanley Cup champions, the Winnipeg Jets, based on their prospects. Based on their prospects. Like, and I'm sure Jets fans will say, oh, well, that could happen. Well, sure. And Buffalo could be the champions, and Ottawa could be the champions, and Toronto could be the champions. Because if we're going to go by, a team that's got a lot of young guns, then there you go. I got something on Bennett in here. Consolation prize: by finishing last, Buffalo isn't guaranteed to get McDavid, but it would still secure a star. They talk about it's the perfect season to tank because this was the year that some kid wearing 97 was the #1 draft pick. And Buffalo tanked hard. Anytime a goalie was playing well, they'd trade him. No, we need, and they eventually got to Lindback, who at the time was considered basically the worst goaltender in hockey. And then he played really well for Buffalo. It was like he had to know why they picked him up. And he played really well as if it was sort of like a screw you. All right, and this is from 2015. So their top 10 prospects. This isn't drafts. These are players already drafted. Number 1, Sam Reinhart. 2, Sam Bennett. 3, Leon Draisaitl. 4, Nikolai Ehlers. 5, Max Domi. 6, Anthony Mantha. 7, Darnell Nurse. 8, Andrei Vasilevsky. 9, Teuvo Teravainen. 10, Dylan Larkin. And doesn't he look good for the North American team in this tournament that's going to see people get hurt? I got to say, too, though, Team Europe looks terrible. People have told, I've had people when I said, look, just put 2 other countries in there, and I've had people saying, they'll just get killed. How's that different from what's happening to Team Europe? You seen Chara on the ice? Chara looks awful. Absolutely horrible out there. And Seidenberg is proving why I was glad that Boston bought him out. God's sake, they just look terrible. 11, William Nylander. 12, Michael Del Colli. 13, Griffin Reinhart. 14, Kevin Fiala. 15, Jake Virtanen. 16, Nick Ritchie. 17, Anthony Duclair. 18, Josh Morrissey. 19, Robbie Fabry. 20, Shea Theodore. So that's the top 20 prospects as far as they were concerned as of, this was released a year and a half ago. And already a year and a half later, we're looking back going, it's not really right. You look at the teams. I'm going to look for just who's out of place here. Malcolm Subban is the number one prospect. I got to say, though, the picture they have of him in Providence, that is so badass. I actually wouldn't mind having a Providence Bruins jersey. I think that'd be a cool jersey to have. Just sit down, Link. What? Nope. You're not getting on there. Yeah. Buffalo. Quest for 30th. Sabres will soon start learning it if pain for gain building path was worth the agony. Sabres plan to build through the top of the draft, known in some circles as tanking. Not in all circles as tanking. Is nearing its final phase. After finishing 30th last season and spending most of this year at the bottom, folks at Buffalo will soon learn whether or not it was worth it. If the Sabres can nail down 30th again, they'll have a 100% chance of drafting a generational player. Connor McDavid or Jack Eichel. Getting 29th place reduces those odds to 33.5%. Some are worried losing has altered the culture. Prospects are great, Coach Ted Nolan said. Then some of them turn into suspects, then some of them turn into rejects. I agree with Ted Nolan. Prospects are awesome, but I don't use them when I factor into how I project standings unless it is a premier this guy really shouldn't be able to miss. But even then, the guys who shouldn't be able to miss can turn into Cody Hodgson. Hodgson was, I remember when there were tons of people who defended Cody. And all I could think was, he seems kind of like a whiner. It doesn't seem like he wants to work for it. He seems like he kind of wants it handed to him. I am a second line center in the NHL. I belong on the second line. Give me a second line position. So that was just a thought I had today, which is, do you trust in prospect rankings heading into this season? Sure you do. We all do. But they're not always right. They're just not always right. Projected top 10 for last year's draft, for the 2015 draft. Connor McDavid, Jack Eichel, Noah Hanifin was rated 3rd. And remember when he fell, I was like, oh my god, Hanifin fell. And Carolina has an absolute stud on the blue line in Hanifin. Dylan Strome, who went 3rd. Matt Barzal, in here, is rated 5th. Fucking Boston. All you had to do was draft Barzal. Zach Werenski, Lawson Cruz, Mitch Marner, it's rated 8th. Pavel Zacha, and Ivan Provorov. It's a pretty solid top 10, it really is. And then the prospects for this past draft that just took place. Meet the next Teemu Selanne, and they're talking about Jesse Puljujarvi. Projected picks: number 1, Austin Matthews; number 2, Jesse Puljujarvi; 3, Jacob Chychrun; 4, Max Jones; 5, Sam Steele; 6, Sean Day; 7, Logan Brown; 8, Kiefer Bellows; 9, Tyler Benson; and 10, Matt Tkachuk. That's how much things can change in a year when they're teenagers. And then when they're looking ahead to the draft that's coming up this year, they have Nolan Patrick in here. They have Michael Pastujov and Patrick Kodorenko. No mention of Liljegren. No mention of Liljegren in here. But they mentioned Max Gilden. I don't know what team that is. I should, though, because I do own this magazine. But I gotta say, I absolutely love the jersey that he's wearing here. So, I mean, it's Texas. Got a D on it. That's the Dallas Stars shoulder patch as a main logo. That's actually really sharp. Really, really, really sharp. So yeah, prospects. So here's the challenge that I give you guys. Going into this season, leave a comment on this video. Say 3 guys, 3 prospects going into this season that you think are gonna tank, gonna bomb, not gonna make it. Any team, doesn't matter, and you don't need to give a reason why. Just 3 guys. Do you think this season maybe they get sent back to junior? Maybe they're overrated, they end up in the American League, or maybe they just end up stuck on the 4th line and they don't make it. I think it'll be an interesting discussion. Keep it friendly, people. Remember, keep it friendly. I do monitor comments as much as possible. Keep it friendly. But, yeah. So, prospects. Which ones do you think aren't going to make it? And, as an added bonus, name 3 prospects nobody's talking about that you think are going to do really frigging well this year. 3 that I haven't talked about. So, yeah. Be an interesting discussion. Anyways, thanks for watching. I will be doing more later. I know I only did 1 video yesterday. I know I only did 1. The combination of my son being here with his friend, and then my girlfriend showed up, and you know, but she is totally supportive of what I'm doing here, of this channel. She's as excited as I am about it. She thinks it has a lot of potential as well, and even though she's not a hockey person, she totally thinks this is a cool thing I'm doing. So I get full support. You guys, if there's anybody out there going, oh, he's got a girlfriend, she's gonna get him off the net. No. This is where I belong. Work is a way to pay the bills right now, but this channel, this place right here, this is where I belong. All right, people, party on, and I will talk to you all soon. Tiny Rick. It's just that's Rick and Morty. It doesn't matter.